so motivate and we inspire and we tell our gritty stories and we tell everything about how we bounce back from adversity. We tell the ugly. I have a speech that's called "Get in front of your ugly," and this is what we talk about all the time. I have a huge guest today, a huge guest, a friend of mine, a brother of mine, someone dearly I respect, someone that I couldn't wait to interview, someone who I wanted to put on a season before, but things just happened the way it was supposed to. So now it's time. I have Mr. Melvin. Hey, how you doing, sir? How you doing? How's everything?
I'm wonderful, my brother. How you doing, man? I'm excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this since we set this up, so I'm excited to be here.
Yes, sir. What we're gonna do right now is gonna give you a chance to live on the air is to tell everybody to tune in on your LinkedIn, on your YouTube, or even share the link. You can take your phone, you can take your computer, your key. Go ahead and let them know to tune in because this is live right now on LinkedIn and live on YouTube. And thank you for just jumping on, man. I want you to introduce yourself after you get that time real quick. Do a chat. He gonna give a chance to share to his family, friends, to everybody that's waiting to see him on this channel,
Let's
on
see
this
here.
air, everything. So it's live again on LinkedIn. It already just went live. If you go to LinkedIn, you already see it's live. You could take what you see on my page and share it. It's live on YouTube. You could take it on that page and share it. Everything you need to do so people can tune in and see this live right here. Y'all don't want to miss this.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
let me let
Yes,
them
sir.
know.
Yes, sir. Uh,
Yes,
we gonna get
no,
going.
man, I'm really excited to be here. Um, it's amazing how things work themselves out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you see someone on LinkedIn. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As we started, you know what I mean? And you get to know one another, and then you start to realize how closely connected we are without even knowing.
Right.
You had Big J on, I believe, was season one. I
Shout out.
mean, Big J and I go back to middle school. You know what I mean? We go back a few
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean?
Don't tell her
So
age. Don't tell her age.
yeah, exactly, right. That's what I'm not saying the amount of years,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. I mean, it's amazing. I'm happy to be here. It's truly a blessing for the opportunity to be able to let people know that, hey, man, it's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay. Yeah,
Definitely.
it's
And I
okay.
love that too. And that's what my platform is about. We hold space. We want people to be able to tell their stories and also
Hmm.
be able to let people know that it's okay and you can bounce back. So let's get to where we got to get to. Let's get to who you are. Introduce
Okay.
yourself to everybody, who you are, and what
Okay.
you're doing right now.
Well, my name is Melvin Asafefa. I am a proud Costa Rican born man of an amazing Costa Rican man and Panamanian woman. I migrated to the United States in 1988, and I've been in Tampa ever since. So
Mm,
Tampa has been home. I'm a USF Bull grad. I'm a Gaither High School grad here in Tampa, Florida. Worked for almost 11 years, in different industries, anything from RVs to car sales to mortgage broker. Um, and then '08 hit the state of Florida.
mm.
And I was in between being a mortgage broker and being an RV salesman.
Oh wow,
And wasn't a good time. You know what I
wow.
mean? It probably wasn't a good time to be doing either thing. And I was helping a friend go and talk to an Air Force recruiter actually at the time. My
Right.
daughter was 2. She's about to be 20 on Sunday. Just to go, far back we're going. And I ended up leaving, I left him, at the Air Force office and kind of just walked out because I had a 2-year old that was, antsy. And I ran into a Navy recruiter. And and her and I just started talking. She said, "Oh my God, your daughter's so beautiful. Thank you so much." And my little girl is, she asked me how old she was, and we just kind of just started chatting. And then I asked her the $1 million question: "Am I too old to join the Navy?" And she goes, "Well, how old are you?" I'm like, "Well, I'm 29. I'll be 30 in 2 months." That was February. My birthday's in April of that year. And December of 2008, you know what I mean? I had already dipped in May. And at 30 years old, December 2008, I headed to Great Lakes, Illinois. and to Navy boot camp. First time I saw snow,
Mm,
and so where we're at today, and the reason why I wanted to say everything is that at 30 years old, I decided to join the Navy, and I hit the ground running. It's easy. The Navy tells you, military tells you what to do. It tells you, what requirements you have for the next pay grade.
right.
They tell you what you got to do. You know how you rank within your people in your command,
Yep.
and I excelled. I put myself in every possible opportunity to advance. And at my before my 8 year mark, I put on chief in the Navy, and and did everything that I possibly could to continue to advance within the military. Unfortunately, sadly, I will say, and I'm embarrassed to say, but it's the truth. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on back home,
Right.
and because, as we're motivated individuals, and if you know that you're doing something right and you move on to the next step, you move on to the next step, and you almost know what's might be going on behind you, but you don't really want to pay that kind of attention because you're focused on the front. And they always say always focus on the front, right? But at home is the base.
Right.
It's the base of how things go. So at 12-year mark, actually between the 12 and 13-year mark, we decided that the effects on the family were just too much, and we decided to leave the Navy. I left the Navy at 14 and a half years,
Mm,
and I've always been a man that has planned. I'm a godly man. I pray. I have faith, and you know what I mean. I have a college degree. I have Navy experience. I ran a $30 million outfit in Djibouti. I was the only guy with money. I got some really really cool pictures with millions and millions of dollars.
right.
And and man, I struggled. I
Mm,
struggled both with first, it was during COVID is when my discharge came. So something that probably should have taken, and being an administrative guy, I know should have taken 90 days. Maybe a little bit more if they gave me some time. We're talking about over a year
mm-hmm.
is what we waited, and during that time, man, I didn't do well with it. You know what I mean? And that's why I said it's okay. It's okay to say I did not do well with it. I thought I was prepared. I had gone to college, like I said. I have experience, and financially, I put things aside, and but I wasn't ready for what came
Mm, right.
at all.
Right.
And from that is where the nonprofit that I'm running right now, that I founded, Stairway for Heroes,
Right.
where it came from a, uh, a rough
Right.
transition where I went down some rabbit holes,
Right.
you know, negative thoughts, uh, and then things started to bleed out, where my wife was noticing and she was getting scared, and it just it wasn't a good time. It,
Right.
it, it really wasn't a good time, and for any veteran and for any person that has their identity, you know what I mean. That's a hard thing, man. I was chief.
Right.
I
Right.
was trying to make senior chief. You know what I
Right.
mean? I was, if they saw me in my khakis, there was a certain level of respect that you carry from sailors, from anybody, really, from any service, with
Right.
that
Right.
anchor on my uniform.
Well, let me ask you something.
And, huh?
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling your story, and
Mm-hmm.
you walking everybody up to that post. Let's hear. Not to interrupt you, but let's hear who was Melvin at his core when you were young. Were you always the way
Ooh.
you are now? Who were you when you were young?
Oh, I was born overseas.
Okay.
So my perspective on things as when Melvin was younger was different, man. I lived in Costa Rica. Love soccer.
Hmm.
It was me, my brother, my mother, and my father. And you didn't, the United States was like my dad used to come to the United States and bring amazing toys to me every Christmas. You know what I mean? That's how I thought of the United States. They didn't know of the land of opportunity. Just knew it as, man, that's a really, really, really nice place. And through things that happen in life, parents divorced, and so had that challenge, right? And I'm not the only one, but it is a challenge that propelled me really to focus on. I went to an American school in Costa Rica, so I spoke English. A lot of
Right.
people don't even know I was born overseas. A lot of people don't know that English is my second language. But I was given that opportunity by my mother putting me into that school. I didn't know then at 7, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old that how it was going to benefit me, at 10 years old. And then now how it was carried me through, man. But I was athletic. I had no worry in the world. I didn't know the difference between, I mean, I knew what a car, and different cars and things like that, but the value and the money is something that has stuck with me. And I'm not a person that, hey, I'm the first person that congratulates somebody when they get a brand new car, regardless of what kind of car it is,
Right.
because it's a blessing.
Right.
And I always feel that if you're not happy for people's blessings, man, you're missing the fact that he's in your neighborhood.
Exactly. And
And
I
it's
want
just a matter of time.
and I love that too because I was getting to that because you were raised overseas, and you
Hmm.
guys see you guys overseas because I did a lot of work overseas. People
Hmm.
that were raised overseas see United States differently, and you
Hmm.
cherish things more. A lot of
Oh
us over
yeah,
here, we don't acknowledge it till it's gone, and then we complain
yeah,
about it, but not
yeah.
knowing that we live in the greatest place that we could ever be, freedom. You know what I'm saying? We can do what we
Hmm.
need to do. A lot of these third world countries and countries like this, they don't have the necessities that we have. And you
Hmm.
growing up in Costa Rica, I remember Costa Rica because when I was going through my healing phase,
Hmm.
I lived in Costa Rica for 3 months the first time and 6 months the last time. And I
Okay.
did my ayahuasca, I did my bufo, I did my Reiki there. I went through a lot of healing in my modalities over there. I found out through it over
Wonderful.
there when I was a bodyguard protecting one of my clients, and then I went back and did it again. But Costa
Yeah.
Rica is beautiful. The playas are beautiful. The beaches,
Oh yeah.
everything so
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. Yes, man.
It's enchanting. It's like when you land there, it gives like it feels like when you put your feet in the sand, it gives you time to heal. Like let me heal. Like it's something special
Hmm.
that's going on in the Costa Rica part. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about
You
that.
know, one of the what famous words, and if you know any Costa Ricans, right? Pura vida. It is defined as in definition as pure life,
Right.
but it really is a way of living. Um, as I mentioned, I mean, grew up with, in the church, and always, praising God and always praying to God, and through everything that I've been through, even in the last couple of years, man, it has been a challenge.
Right.
I had been telling my wife, going back several years, like, I want to get closer, I want to get closer, I want to get closer. And then, you get other things that pull you away, but man, that's one thing, with my family, both in Costa Rica and in Panama, man, that they're just, strong Christian family, and strong beliefs, strong faith. And that's what I grew up. I mean, my dad's one of seven, my mom's one of four. So
Wow.
I have a big family. So, as you mentioned, you asked me earlier, like, hey, how were you when you were younger? I would say, man, that was a great time, and think of all the wonderful things. And then I think about the transition to the United States.
Right.
We live in Carrollwood,
Okay.
the northern part of Tampa, and but where I grew up, first couple years, we're in down in Sulphur Springs, playing football at the Police Athletic League. Um, and a lot of people don't know that. I come from very hardworking parents. My mom, after my parents divorced, with my stepfather, both amazing, amazing people, both hard workers. Both of them retired from the state of my mother, the state of Florida. My dad, Hillsborough County, health department and professional engineer. I mean, these are very hardworking, very smart people, and that's the example that I was given. But just like everything in life, man, you have to start somewhere. There's a gap between where you start and where you want to be that has a lot of work in between, that has a lot of occurrences and things that'll happen. You don't just get to the end. Unfortunately, they say that the newer generation is like they want that immediate gratification because of the availability of information that we have in today's day and age. But there's a gap, between where you are right now and where you were, right? And I know, the story, the company, right? The bodyguard and losing the business, and you know what I'm saying? It's that gap. People look at you now, they're like, oh, look, look at Dr. JayR, man. Look, he's got that nice beard, he's always looking good, he's fit. But did you know that he struggled? Did you know that he
Yeah.
went? Exactly, and a lot of times, I almost don't care if somebody knows.
Right.
Just respect me from what I'm trying to do for others. There's a difference between doing it for others and doing it for yourself,
Right. Right.
and that's where Stairway for Heroes came from, through the struggle in trying to help others. I feel that in helping others, and in the military, a lot of people don't understand this. You have to do good at your job. You got to do things for your command. It's the same in every service,
Right.
and you got to volunteer.
Right.
If you don't do those things, you're not a complete sailor, airman,
Soldier.
soldier.
Yeah.
You don't say you're not complete because you're not touching. So that's how I grew up in the Navy, right?
Right.
Volunteering, going places, learning. Man, I got to clean a cemetery in Meridian, Mississippi, of just Civil War heroes.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Don't care where it's from, but just that was an experience that I had just come into the Navy. Now, we do it because we know we're going to get something in return,
Right.
right? Like, hey,
Exactly.
man, it's going to be good on the eval.
Right.
Let's keep it real. Let's keep it
Right.
real.
Definitely. I love
But,
that.
but now I've learned, and through life and getting older, that man, I know that when I do for others is going to come back tenfold. That whatever God's timing is, and God's timing is never on my time,
It's his
but
time.
He's always on time, and
Always.
it's on
Always.
His time,
And
always on His time.
I love how you rope that in. I like to give people the floor for the first couple of minutes so people can see the intensity and see where you come from and tell your story and how passionate you are. And we diving back in. It's a reason why. What I'm saying, we tell people to re-meet you, reintroduce. Like, this
Hmm.
is who I am right now. I went through a whole lot. You know my story, and
Hmm.
my community and chat. Y'all know my story. And shout out to Los Angeles Tribune podcasting for signing me last year, putting me on their podcast division because I worked hard to get here.
Hmm.
10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50,000 hours to recreate myself and pivot to where I'm at right now. And people
Hmm.
see me now, like you said, they see the I dress nice or they see my beard or whatever, but not knowing that it was some scary nights, scary
Yeah.
days. And I tell
The
people all the
scars,
time,
man, the scars. If we could wear the scars on a shirt,
yeah,
people would be like,
yeah,
I don't want to put on that shirt.
right,
I don't want
exactly,
to put on that shirt. I don't even want to mess with it. And
right.
we're no different than anybody else.
Right. And exactly like I was just heard you spoke earlier and what you were saying about you graduated from USF.
Yes. Hmm.
I'm speaking there at the end of this month at the University of South Florida. So look out how
Amazing.
fast forward that everything is going. I'm speaking
Yeah.
there. And shout out to Big J. That's a dear friend of mine that connected
Big
the
J.
dots. And you guys, that's a crazy how you guys grew up together. And now he
Yeah,
was
man, we
telling me
hooped.
Yeah,
We
that's
hooped together. We both were a little bit. We were both a lot smaller
yeah, yeah,
back
yeah.
then. You know what I mean? He was a slim, small forward, big. You know what I mean? And I was a point guard.
Right.
It's changed a little bit.
Look at him now, though.
Yeah.
He's a
hmm
sheriff now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
And
fast.
it's and a lot of people would look at that and say, why? Like,
Right,
why you want to do that?
right.
And you know what I mean? That took a lot, man. I mean, listen, we've all hit the we've all hit the pavement, we've all run in boots, we've all run on flight decks, what I mean, we've already done it. And for him to jump at our age, we'll just leave it at that, right?
Yes.
At our age, and be able to accomplish something like that, man, is amazing. And it's inspiring to others. So to have heard you all speak was, to me, was amazing.
Right. You know, touch the bases on that.
hmm
Big J. I remember during COVID when he was transitioning, before he had the shop, and he was getting his own shop, and I was
hmm
in a position to make sure that as a friend I can accommodate him and help him with certain things, and that was a proud moment for me because when I had it, I gave out, and that's what my book is about. A big heart don't have bills, so you
hmm
can give and you can give and you can give to people that prey on you. And at the end of the
hmm
day, what I'm saying, when you go without, and when I started to crumble, everybody disappeared. What I'm saying, and it taught me a valuable lesson though in entrepreneurship and veteran entrepreneurship that
Yeah,
nobody cares about you, and then not even the veterans care about you.
yeah, it's
So what that
difficult,
did was
man.
force me to level up, to be right here and have a good
hmm
group of friends that stayed around, like the Big J's, and encouragement, him and his wife, and everything that what I'm saying you see me doing now was because of the downfall of the security company. And what you're
hmm
doing now, Stairway for Heroes, is awesome, because I remember when you was letting me know about it, and you was telling me everything that you had, that I was in touch with that. And also yesterday you had an event. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your event.
Well, we're in our third year, and our objective is to create community. You know what I mean? Yes, there's a mission statement, but at the end of the day, man, this is keeping it real. It's community. I joked with some veterans yesterday, and I said, every time you PCSed, whether you lived in housing or wherever you lived, after you finished, after all the boxes were thrown in from the movers, or if you threw them in before you started moving everything, you're like, okay, man, I hope I got a good neighbor. Man, hope we get along. And why? Because you're stuck there for 3, 4, 5 years, right? Depending on your orders.
Yeah.
But if we look back at it, what we were doing is sensing the community.
Right.
Let me
Exactly.
make sure I have good people around me so that the life that I'm living at this current and present duty station is a good life. Well, guess what? That's what we're trying to do here in Tampa. And we use it doing the game of golf as a conduit to help with the mental health and with getting people out and getting people to, whether they get into golf or whether they want to be a part of the events that we have on a monthly basis, which is what you referred to, which we now are calling Veterans Engaging Together Socially, VETS. The most important part, man, is community. And we had rough, somewhere probably in the 30s yesterday. To be honest with you, I didn't bother to check people in from Eventbrite, and I was in the event. I was in the zone and just talking to people and talking to veterans. And we had, my best friend Jeremy of 30 years. He was there supporting. And then Chris supporting, and we had several of my board members supporting. And then, but when I looked around, it was veterans talking, veterans chatting, laughing, joking. You know what I mean? The Air Force banter, the Army banter, the Navy, you know what I mean? Like I told my group of buddies who are Rangers, I took a picture of them. I'm like, damn, you guys just can't get away from each other. You know what I mean? But to me, it's a good thing. But it started that way, and then throughout the night, man, you just kind of saw like a snake, just everything just kind of moving and everybody interacting with one another, and That's what it's about. It's about providing a space that allows people to come out, have a good time. That, you know what I mean? If it's not a good time, then they're not going to come to my events. Come
Right.
out, have a good time, meet some good people. And Sterling Cigar Lounge in Ybor City is amazing.
Right.
And we had a great time. Harry, the owner, is a huge supporter of the military, and it was just it was exactly what I wanted it to be, and that was a place where people can come, hang out, have a drink, have a cigar, have conversations, because I'm a firm believer, and I am an example of it, that you never know where a conversation is going to take you.
Right.
Now,
That's
I'm not saying that the conversation is going to take you somewhere today.
right.
I'm not saying that the conversation will take you somewhere tomorrow or in a month or 6 months or whatever. But man, I host a clay shoot once a year now through a relationship that in a 6 month, 7 month span grew into me being able to be a beneficiary of a clay shoot.
Come on. Look at that.
You know what I mean? So, but the biggest key is genuine. You gotta be genuine. You
Got
gotta truly understand that if you come up with somebody and you're holding your business card and you just can't, that's transactional, man. I don't want to be transactional. You know what I mean? The best salespeople always work off of referrals. Any salesperson will tell you that. Any good salesperson will be asking you for them when you do business with them.
Right. Right. Definitely.
Why? Because that makes the job easier, makes life easier when
Right.
people come to you.
Right.
Well, it's the same thing about being genuine, man. If somebody knows that the reason that you're talking to them is because you want something from them, likely they're not going to come. For me, yes, I run a nonprofit.
Right.
Okay, so there are three things: money, time, right? Every nonprofit is going to need money,
Right.
right?
Right.
And that's honest.
Mhm.
That's honesty at its best.
Right.
I personally have not received any grants, so
Right.
and it's okay to say that. So
Right.
everything that we've done is raised, and everything is on a volunteer basis, because no one takes a dime outside of that organization except for going towards veterans. But
Right.
what I was saying is that the nonprofits need money, but as I was saying, three things that you can do for them: money, give them your time, volunteer, or tell somebody about them. And those
Right.
are the three things you can do for Stairway for Heroes:
Yeah.
money, tell somebody about us, or give us your time.
Right.
Man, and one will lead you to probably help the other, or might let you know of somebody that can give the other.
I love that too because how you explain your company and let my community know. So, chat, that's why I let the conversation go longer because I wanted everybody just to understand and see where you're coming from and your passion and what are we doing for the vets. Like, right? Everybody wants to be a veteran influencer, but are you
Yeah.
really are you really in them trenches helping them veterans when they need help? And I can truly say you are. I've been there before. I missed yesterday's event, but I'm not going to miss the next one. We in a lot of the same circles. I'm a
Hmm.
speaker. I'm a life coach. I'm navigating my way through a lot of these veteran events, but I'm all over the world with
Hmm.
my public speaking and my
Wow.
and what's crazy is your gift will make room for you, and my gift definitely made room for me really fast, and I have a lane, and sometimes I look up and I cannot be not booked. And I
Hmm.
remember when I used to do all this for free for 4 years. And, guy was like, hey, you done running from me? You done being the cow and running from the storm? Do you want to be the bull? And when I turned around and decided to be the bull and run into the eye of the storm, I was like, now you're ready to be a motivational speaker and a life coach. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you are doing. You know your gift. Your gift made room for you. And you're out
Thank you.
here spreading that veteran love and you pushing it and you believe it with your heart and soul. Because right now people can feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
discernment. Is he really trying to do this for money? Do he want grants? Or is he really trying to help the veterans out? I can truly say that's what you are doing. And actually, you chose golf to merge with your veterans. Why did you
Yeah.
choose golf? Tell me about that.
Well, I played golf when I sold RVs. Remember, I mentioned that I was in sales, so I played golf with my buddy Donnie, and Don. I mean, he was so nice to me. He needed somebody to play with, so he got me clubs. He let me borrow all his stuff, and I was out there to be a partner and be there with him so that he can golf. We had the same schedule, and so I had that in the back of my mind, but never played in the Navy, never played when I was stationed in San Diego for 9 years, and I never played one round of golf in San Diego. The best weather in the United States. I don't care what anybody says. And I never played. So it was in the back of my mind, and um, I met, well, not met, but actually rekindled with one of my buddies, and he played, and so I decided, you know what, let's give it a whirl. You know what I mean? I'm getting older. I can't hoop. I can't run and jump like I used to. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can work out, but let me see if I can do something that long term can that I can do. And I picked it back up, and I didn't know how much it was helping. I was getting out of the house. When I first got out of the Navy, I worked from home. I was a government contractor. And I was fresh out. I thought that that's what I wanted. That probably wasn't the best thing for me. Because mentally, man, it was rough. You know what I mean? Sometimes, I'd go to the gym, take a quick shower, and, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, all day. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting out of the house. And this allowed me to get out. But more than anything, it gave me something to concentrate on. I changed my workouts. You know what I mean? I used to be the old guy that wanted the size in the Navy. I didn't want them young guys to think I was a punk, That's not so conducive to twisting and playing golf. You know what I mean? So, I changed my workout. I was practicing. I was going to practice. I was going to the range. My wife hates when I say this, but if her and I got into a little tussle, I'll be back. I'd go to the range, put on my headset, put on some music, a podcast, or whatever the case may be. Come back an hour and 15, hour and a half later, man, fresh. And then you can discuss something.
Put on the more
So
podcast.
yeah, so we're using golf. What we do for a veteran who wants to get into golf, we'll provide them, clubs, either pre-loved or new, depending on if they're a lefty or, what we have that has been donated to us. We'll give them 5 lessons by a golf pro, and then we'll give them opportunities to play throughout the year. And man, those opportunities are so much fun. I've gotten the chance to play with Army, Navy, Air Force guys. I went with the team with the Air Force guys. I went with the team of Army guys. I went with the mixed team. We had our first all women's team, all veterans women's team in December. You know what I mean? So we're growing, and it's just amazing to see when veterans get together, and it's immediate.
Right.
It Air Force, Marine, it doesn't matter.
Right.
The only thing that your service does is it lets the other one know where to kind of, poke from or ask questions. But the great thing is when you start talking to these people, oh man, I hear somebody talking about Iraq. It makes me think of whether it was Djibouti or whether it was, Afghanistan. And you almost, and don't start talking to somebody that has been where you've been, because then you start to have those conversations. And bro, I almost feel like I'm there as I'm having those conversations. Like, you can sometimes, as you start to talk, and I'm sure like Iraq was, like Afghanistan. When you start talking about Afghanistan, you talk about certain things, you could almost like smell the burn of all the burning that they would do at night in Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you start to talk about it, you could almost sense it.
Right.
And then when you get people intermixed and talking, and when we get a veteran with one of our supporters, one of our sponsors, or even if friendships that I have made through networking of civilian individuals, right? Of, people that I have met that have come out and played with other veterans, they have a great time.
Right.
And it's just amazing to me to see the friendships being created, and you start to, you almost see it building.
Right.
And it's we all need community. Exactly. Everybody does. COVID almost made it okay to, be in your own spot, be in your own corner.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's not good. And we as veterans, we are amazing at turning off our feelings.
Exactly. Yeah.
It just recently went through counseling. My wife and I did, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. And I don't like turning that button back on, man. I catch myself crying at movies, crying at
Yeah.
commercials. I'm like, hey, I don't like this, man. This is
Yeah.
not good. But
Definitely.
but but it's suppressed. I mean,
Right.
years going on deployment, and
Years
you
and
shut
years.
everything off because you got to focus on mission.
Yes, years and
You
years. And
know,
I tell people all the time. I
yeah.
talk about it on my platform
Hmm.
that, men period don't talk about the mental challenges,
Hmm.
but as minority men and men that have struggled and been through situations, we don't talk about it because it's machismo. And that's why I
Yeah.
allow people on my platform to continue. Let's talk about it. Let's get in front of our ugly. Let's figure this thing out. Because on
Yeah.
the outer, it looks like we got it all figured out. And inside, we don't have it figured out at all. And we needed to
Hmm.
have this conversation today. And that's why I love it. And I'm proud of you because not only do I
Thank you,
see
bro.
you working, I see that you're doing the work on yourself. And I tell people all the time, especially veterans, hey, if you're gonna get out there and do some entrepreneurship and do some work, make sure you heal yourself first. Because
Hmm.
the one mistake that you don't want to do is jump back in that water and don't have a lifeguard vest because you are still drowning within.
Hmm.
And I tell people, like I said, get the help, get the work done first. I couldn't get on this podcast and this life coaching mission and traveling around the world on all these stages. People ask me all the time, JayR, what's your niche? I said, everybody. But
Hmm.
I have a love for my veterans because
Hmm.
we've been there, done that, especially the ones that was in combat. It's a different type of love you have for them boys and them women and them men because at the end of the day, like we were there in the trenches doing what we had to do. But I'm
Yeah.
proud of you and where you came
Thank you, my
from. You
brother.
took that leap of faith when you were older to join the Navy and figure it out and then came back and say, you know what, I love the military so much. I love my veterans. Let me help you cope. It's not you just not out there playing golf.
Hmm.
You out there dealing with mental stress because a lot of these veterans use golf to facilitate
Yeah.
their movement on their
Yeah.
modalities with playing golf. I don't play golf, but I know how much it helps other veterans when they go and they buy the gear and they suit up and they go and they walk them hoes and they talk about their issues. And a lot of
Hmm.
business gets done on the golf course. You know what I'm saying?
That truer words, haven't been, said, right? Like a lot of business gets done on the golf course. But guess what? Also a conversation. Because I
Right.
tell people, I cut grass. I don't play golf. I cut grass.
Right.
When I go, you see everywhere I swing from because I'm not the best at it, man. But I'm not out there to beat Tiger Woods, man. I tell people the PGA stopped calling me a long time ago.
Right.
I'm there to enjoy the weather, enjoy the place, and that hope that I get that one or two or three or good shots. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm not at a point where I'm consistent yet, but
Right.
what I am consistent on is knowing that I'm out there to get better and how it's helping me and in the getting rid of those thoughts and the focus at that time is just on that. And when you have a conversation, when you're with someone for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, you'll know if you like the person, you'll know if you want to play with them again, you'll know if you don't want to play with them again, and you'll know if you don't like the person. It's okay. I'm not saying everybody has to be best friend, but you do it with respect and you enjoy the time that is there for what is presented. The reason why we did vets as an outing is because I want not only for veterans to come out and spend time with us and meet people and realize, man, there's a lot of great organizations, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. There's a lot of great veteran organizations. You can have a networking event Monday through Friday, probably on weekends too. Breakfast, lunch, happy hour, dinner. I mean, like there's a lot of them. So
Hmm.
you know what I mean. Find something. If it's not vets or if it's not stereo for here, find something that will work for you.
Right.
Give us a chance.
Right.
You'll have a good time. Give us a chance. But if it's not us, find something else. Or you may come and you may meet somebody that might put you on to something else. Again, you never know where a conversation is going to take you.
Right.
But don't stay at home.
Right.
Don't just stay at home. Don't isolate yourself.
Right.
Don't don't think the reason why I focus on veterans is going back to those three things with the nonprofit. The first one, right? Money. So
Yes.
that's why we're sticking with veterans. I would love to do first responders. I would love to do why? Because that transition from, this ringing off the hook and
Yeah.
it's stopping or not having it because now you got to give it back because somebody else is going to do it.
Right.
It's a transition. I had someone ask me last night, veteran, he's about to retire, and he
Right.
asked me a question and he said, "What was the hardest thing for you?" And I told him, I said, the easiest thing for me to say to you is I didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring. I said, but let me explain something. And then I explained the timeline of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But we all go through the same things differently and different things the same way.
Right.
So I just told him, I was like, nobody's going to give you a plan of the day you retire.
Right.
You have the plan of the day.
Right.
What are you going to do with the plan of the day?
Exactly.
Is it rest? Hey, we need rest, man. That's listen. I love getting my nails done, and I live with my wife. I love it, man. Yes, pamper me, please. Yes, I get my nails done, feet done. I don't care why. Number one is time with my wife, which
Right.
is key to my life. But number two, man, I'm relaxed. You know what I mean? No worries, and of course I'm with my lady. So how can that be? How can that go wrong?
I love that because you correlate that with your wife and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that your happy space is your family, your wife is golf. And I love that because at the end of the day, you have a home base. You know where to come home to. A lot of veterans, a lot of people right now. We're winding down to the last in minutes of the show, and a lot of people
Okay.
they don't have a home base. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's why I do this podcast because I want people to understand that I am here for you. My community is chat. We
Yes.
are here for the people because like people are doing right now. We out here. We doing it for the likes and the clicks and social media is all this other stuff. But what about the people that they survive in the darkness? Some people that
Yeah.
they don't want to come out. Some people that you know what I'm saying they need the help. And I love the fact that we are both pushing that. Hey, you know what? I've been through some things. Let me help. Not
Yeah.
only the veterans. Let me help everybody out there. If you need help, and that's the energy that you bring all the time when I meet you. You don't care
Thank
who
you,
the
brother.
person is. You just want to
No.
help. You want to put your hand out. You want to make sure that you can contribute and you can sleep good at night. And I feel that with you. That's my discernment. And I appreciate you just doing what you do, because it's not easy. It's not easy, especially when you're grown and you're really grown and you're trying to figure out just entrepreneurship and you're really trying to put your mind, body, and soul to this. And I would say, for me watching, this is where you're supposed to be. This is where God
Thank you,
wants
brother.
you to be. This is the
Thank you.
time and this is the place. I appreciate you. I'm inspired by you. I tell people all the time, I would not put nobody on my platform if I am not intrigued or inspired because it's my platform and I want to be able to have a
Mm-hmm.
good conversation with this person and figure out how we can make sure that we can move forward and we can touch. I just left Connecticut last Friday speaking at
Yeah, I saw
the
that.
jail cell. So not only am I speaking to the kids, I'm getting to the root cause of things now. And
Mm-hmm.
people ask me, "How did you get that? Are you scared?" And I'm like, the only thing that was scary is just how fast it's moving. I need my voice in every room, and I need people to see that it doesn't have to look the way that you think it needs to look. At the end of this year, I'll be Dr. McIntyre. When I went bankrupt, I didn't even have a master's degree. So look at that. I kept my head down, my nose down, and I kept walking uphill, kept grinding. And I tell people all the time there are two animals that go through these experiences of trial, tribulation that God puts specifically on this earth, and that's a cow and a bull. The cow and the bull can sense when a storm is coming, but the difference is the cow runs from it and the storm keeps following. But the bull turns around and look that storm in the eye, goes through it, shakes it off, and be able to tell the story on the other end. And I
Mm-hmm.
asked everybody before the show is ending, which one will you be? Will you be the cow, or will you be the bull? Which one is hungrier? Which wolf is more hungry on the hill? The one getting up the hill or the one that's already on the hill? So you just got to figure out which one you want to be. Grab the bull by his horns and take off with what God has for you. And that's why we
Mm-hmm.
have the motivators table because I'm not going to let you leave until I motivate you from this table and say, you know what? Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. This is it. This is a year of harvest. This is a year of reset. We are, especially the farmers like us that then put out all the good work. All we needed was a good set of rain, and now our fruits of our labor is about to start flourishing. God is about to bless you, Melvin. He about to take
Thank you,
your
brother.
nonprofit and he gonna pour into you so much, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, JR just told me that. I see it happening." And that's why we keep continue meeting each other in every rooms, because that's what it's looking like. We are in some of the same rooms doing the things we need to do. I'm a speaker and a coach. You got the nonprofit. We all deserve to be in that room. At the end of the day, people are acknowledging that, and I'm acknowledging that, and I see you, and I want you to
Thank
lead
you, brother.
my community with your social medias, where we can find you, what you got next coming out, and an inspirational quote. Let's go.
Well, I will first I will first start with the motivational part, and I'll say this: we all have to remember that the devil's only job is to steal, kill, and destroy.
Right.
That is what his duty is here on earth. And when you struggle, that's when he starts to feed. You know what I mean? Like you open the window and he climbs through and he starts to feed the mind.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And you start to think like the cow, and you start to think even less than that, right? You start to really lose what propelled you to be where you're at in life. And that's where the community comes in. That's where talking to people and understanding that we all are going through different things, that we can support and help one another, or we can let a person know that might be struggling with something of a support or a help that someone else can provide with nothing desired in return. And you know that's very important to remember, because it is that negative stuff that you hear. And I went down the wrong path. I went down that rabbit hole because of that. So I'm telling people, listen, man, when you start to hear that, call somebody, text somebody, find a place to go, go to counseling. Men, women, doesn't matter. Go to counseling, go talk to somebody. It's okay. You start to where Melvin Asafefa is today. Melvin Asafefa was not here 2 years ago. He wasn't here a year ago. It is a constant growth. It's constant change, and there are things that you'll just find out about yourself, little things. I'm not saying that you're gonna change this or change. I mean, it's just small things that you do that continue to add up. And I want to let you know, my brother, that you have motivated me. I appreciate everything that you do. um the work that you are doing is amazing. I went back to school. You know what I mean? Damn it, if you can do it, and people are, you know what I mean? And I want to be that sign to somebody, that hey, at 47, all right, I'll say it, at 47, I'm back at it. And it's okay. But man, it hasn't come to without that little drop of negativity that says, "Man, Melvin, why are you doing this at 47? Why is this important to you?" Blah 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 blah. Look at you in class. You're with kids that your daughter and your son go to the same school that you're going. Like the motivation and what you're doing for others, man, is fantastic. I commend you for it, and I thank you for what you're doing, because a lot of people don't say that, and a lot of people don't mean it. And I just want to tell you thank you. But before we do leave, Stairway for Heroes, www.stairway4, and it's the word FOR, and then heroes.com. And then it's Stairway for Heroes in Instagram as well, and in Facebook. And we do a lot on LinkedIn as well. Please follow. I would love to get to 1,000 followers on LinkedIn, and increase our platform in Instagram and Facebook, as well as YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel that I've been working on to get more stuff on there to really show people what we are doing and the effect that we're having on our veterans. Our second Wednesday of the month is going to be our day to have an event. Next month in February, we'll be at the Team House down in South Tampa. And March, we'll be back at Harry's Sterling Lounge in Ybor City, working on April. And then May, I take the month off, man. That's my biggest fundraiser, is our golf tournament. We put on a great show. We it's a great time down in Plantation Palms here in Land O'Lakes, and again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for having me on. Thank you for allowing me to tell people about what we're doing and really of the struggles, because you know what I mean. It's okay. It's okay to know that hey man, yeah, I wasn't the strongest. I made mistakes. I still make mistakes. You don't know what you don't know. But if God gave you the breath to wake up the next day, you got to take advantage. So I'll leave you with that one. Can hear you. Sorry.
This is why we do what we do. Motivators mount up. You guys tune into a great, great, great session with Mr. Melvin. You heard about his nonprofit. You heard about the struggles. You heard about the dark days. You heard about how he's persevering. So if you need to tap in with him, you just heard all his social medias. This is the Motivators Table. This is where we get motivated, man. I'm proud of you. I love you. Let's keep pushing
Thank you,
on.
brother.
Thank you for
Appreciate you,
tuning
man.
in. Hey, I'm telling you right now, April, I need to be that featured speaker or that keynote for one of your events. So let me know.
All right,
I'm gonna
wait, we
pop
got
out.
it.
I'm popping out, and we're gonna talk about the stories. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this going.
All right, brother.
I
Appreciate you, man.
appreciate
Thank you
you.
so
Thank,
much.
thank you, bro. Thank you. Hey, this is a motivators table. Thank you for staying inspired. I appreciate you. Tune back into our next episode.